Episode 6 of Frozen Planet is called The Final Frontier, and it's about people at the poles. So we open up in the Arctic as we usually do. We explore various towns and cities in the Arctic. One of the weirdest things about that part of the episode is the Walrus Club in that Russian city. I can't remember the name of it. With these old fat guys jump in the water. It's like a degree above freezing, so not exactly pleasant. I can't say it's like amazing footage or anything, but it definitely has stayed with me over the years. And then we kind of get to the more interesting part, the indigenous people that live in the Arctic, the Dolgun or the reindeer people, the people that base their whole lives around the reindeer herds. They move with the herds, and in that they actually pack up their villages and move them. That's quite interesting. And the shots of the reindeer pulling the village is quite cool as well. The best part of the Arctic stuff and the episode as a whole is the Inuits though. The Inuit stuff's great. Seeing them hunting walrus was really cool. You really felt like it was a proper epic struggle. And while it's pretty grim watching them kill the walrus, you do get the sense that this is pretty ethical. Like at the end of the day, they're going out, they're killing it, they're utilising the whole animal. They do make a point of showing you that the whole animal is being utilised, both here and in the diary sequence. So I do think it is pretty responsible at showing you, okay, no, while this maybe isn't the nicest thing to look at, it is still pretty ethical, especially compared to the way that we consume meat. Ultimately, it is actually a pretty good hunt. So I really like that sequence. I also really like them climbing the cliffs to get the seabird eggs. That's really good as well. The bit where the guy just, cracks open an egg and just drinks it and throws it away for his lunch. That's pretty funny, but you do get a sense of how dangerous that is as well. I mean, they don't really have proper harnesses. They're very much relying on the guys holding them at the top, and the cliffs are giving way. It's pretty good. It's a pretty intense sequence, and again, it is the best part of the episode. And you get the guys from Denmark who are patrolling Greenland on the dog sled. That's cool. The main point of that sequence is to show how dogs are used for transport in the Arctic. Dog sledding was a very, famously common way of getting around in the Arctic, and still is to a degree. So that was cool. Again, that was interesting. And they'll talk about how people study the aurora borealis. Shots of the aurora are great. Obviously, it's a pretty, captivating thing to look at. And then we go to the Antarctic. Here there aren't any indigenous people, so there's not a huge amount of anthropological stuff to talk about. However, there is a lot of history with Antarctica. We do spend a bit of time talking about the Walter Scott expedition. The footage is actually spliced with photos from the expedition. That's really cool. It's quite effective, especially because the hut has actually remained the same. They haven't touched it. There's still the same mustard, the same salt. Everything has been left in place. So it's kind of an almost historic monument to that expedition. So that's really cool. And then we see tourism is taking effect. We see people, getting close to the emperor penguins. Tourism is probably one of the main reasons people do go to Antarctica outside of working. So that was good to see. And we see the people researching Antarctica. Research is obviously the main part of Antarctica. No one can actually own Antarctica. No one's allowed to drill for oil there. So basically the main people there are doing research, whether it be the people exploring the caves in Mount Erebus or the people studying Mount Erebus as a whole, just, propped up against this volcano that's, very active. It's really cool looking into the volcano and seeing all the magma bubbling. That's really cool. And the scientists that live there all year round at the South Pole Station. And that's cool. It seems they're mainly studying astronomy, but they've also got a greenhouse. They do other stuff there. There's that massive balloon they're sending into space. So a lot of weird stuff goes on there. It's cool. See, overall, the Antarctic stuff, well, it maybe isn't as interesting on an anthropological level. There is still interesting stuff going on there, so I did enjoy it. And the diaries is all about the people filming the Inuit people, especially them scaling the cliffs for the seabird eggs. And that's really good. I like their interactions with the Inuit hunters themselves, especially when they try their food and offer them their chicken korma, and the guy just kind of shakes his head as like, I've already tried that stuff, no thanks. That's quite funny. And again, you do get a sense of how dangerous this is. The shots panning out to show them on the cliff is very effective, and so I really like that as well. So yeah, this episode is good. It's not as good as the previous ones, but that's mainly because I'm interested in wildlife. This isn't a wildlife episode, it's more anthropological, at least in the Arctic, which is still interesting, but I do enjoy it. I mean, the highlight for me is the Inuit hunters, but I also, I do like the other stuff as well, but that is the bit that stayed with me the most. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. What were your highlights? Let me know. I'll be doing the next one next week, which is all about the environmental impacts, so look forward to that. And as ever, feel free to like, comment and subscribe, or don't if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine, and I'll see you next week, and goodbye.